What up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Metaltown Radio podcast, doing another review for a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not the original, TCM 22. And to be honest, I was coming into this, like, I don't go into any horror movie with any expectations. So I always keep my expectations low. And really going into this, I was not expecting jack shit. I'd seen what Rotten Tomatoes had. I'd heard everyone else talking about it, and had someone ask me on Facebook to do the review. I was kind of planning on doing it later this week, but I watched it tonight. In fact, just finished it not too long ago, and I figured, well, I'll do it while it's kind of fresh in my head because I really did not go into this thinking I was going to like it like I did. Off the bat, like, none of the main characters do I feel sorry for. In fact, I enjoyed what happened to them up and down. But we're going to give you a little bit of backstory of what's going on with this movie. It's 50 years after the original film, so they skip everything else in between. And we're only dealing with Leatherface 50 years later. Now, we have these four individuals who come into Harlow, Texas, and there's this it's like a little ghost town, a little few buildings and whatnot. They bought most of the land that they want to revamp and make it more hip and like almost like another city for, hipsters or whatever to kind of come in. And the wife or the girlfriend, fiance of Dante is wants like an art gallery. And then of course they want to do things with other parts of the town. And so at first, they're coming into this town, they got their all yuppie looks and whatnot, and they're already starting to kind of rub the locals a little bit the wrong way. They get motioned over by the cops before they enter the city limits, and they're saying, look, don't stir no trouble up, just here's our card. If there's any problems, give us a call. Well, immediately we run into problems because Dante, who happens to be black, sees that there's a Confederate flag on one of the buildings that they supposedly own, as far as the land's concerned. And basically they're expecting a bustle of other people to show up to kind of like, I guess they're going to be sponsors or something for this as well. They're all just it's like gonna be a big melting pot for them to try to revamp this town into what they want to be, gentrified. So Dante, is trying to take the flag off the thing, because obviously the Confederate flag now is a no-no. And as he's there, a woman named I think it's Jenny. Yeah, Jenny is there. Much older woman. She's got like the little respirator and whatnot she walks around with. And she starts talking with Dante and the other lead. Let me get her name here real quick so I know what I'm talking about. I think it's Jessica, or Catherine is her name, played by Jessica Lange, I guess. And then, of course, her sister, Leela, or is Melody. Melody is the main character. So her sister, Leela, is the one. She's a younger sister who had survived a school shooting. So one of the reasons why Melody has brought them there is to get away from all the violence. Yeah, we're getting away from that violence. Going a whole new world. So Melody and Dante are talking with this older woman, and she's telling them that, oh, well, we cleared it up with the bank. Like, I still have the title to this house. I own this. We're not leaving. Because right now it's Jenny and this big dude that supposedly is one of her boys that she's looked over because it's an orphanage. So Jenny's been watching over kids and helping kids out for years. So obviously we have this big dude that's one of her boys that she's been watching over. And I'm going to get to some things later about that maybe somebody else can clear up with me if they know what's going on a little more than me. Maybe I missed something. But anyway, so Jenny is trying to tell them that she owns the house that they're at, and they're not leaving because, obviously there's friction now because Dante says that he's bought that, and Melody thinks that they bought the land, that she shouldn't be there. So they're Dante's pissed about that. He's pissed about the Confederate flag because Jenny's trying to explain that she's not like racist. It only has something to do with her great grandmother or whatever. So Dante storms out and he ends up calling the car with the cops. And the cops come and they're actually, as they're trying to take Jenny out of the house, she collapses, like she gets ill. And so now the big dude comes down, kind of got strangly little hair, and he picks Jenny up, puts her in the police van. And at this point, not really sure why exactly, but they sort of go out of their way to make it sound like these four individuals are very caring and all this other stuff, but it's kind of inconsistent with the way they were just acting prior to the old woman Jenny going down. So now you have the two cops, the big dude, Jenny in the back. It's like basically a paddy wagon. So you got the two, cop in the back, cop in the front driving. Ruth, who plays Dante's fiance, she jumps in instead of Melody because Melody was planning on going there with the hospital with the woman to make sure she was okay. But because of the bus coming and the important people that they needed to talk to, she stayed behind and Ruth went instead. It's not long before shit breaks out in that van because Jenny ends up dying. Sorry, a little bit of spoiler there. I'm not going to give away too many, but just setting the tone for shit that's coming. And really, the cop in the back, when Jenny dies, it just triggers the big dude. And we know who he is. We all know. Anyone who's watched the series knows who he is. And I was kind of trying to put things together as the film was going on, and I was pleasantly surprised at some of the things that were being exposed throughout the film. Like, it's like, oh, I know what he's up to now. I know what he's doing. But that first scene with the cop in the back set the tone for the violence that was to come, because that's one of the best death scenes I've seen in quite some time. And then there was quite a few in this that were really good. I know people are going to have problems, and I'm going to get to some of those later. But yeah, so the first cop death is just crazy good. I really liked it. Now, of course, as they're fighting, the wrestling back there, the cop tries to pull his gun. Leatherface basically like pushes the gun away, and it shoots the cop in the front driving in the head or a neck or something like that. And they crash into like a crop duster or a crop machine that's sitting out there because they're out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. But so there's this time now where we're seeing that Leatherface is getting out of the back and he's doing something with the body of the cop, which we know he's cutting up his face so he can have a new skin. Because now the Leatherface is like, it really was Jenny was keeping Leatherface calm and chill and out of trouble for the last 50 years. This is what we've learned about that particular relationship between Jenny and Leatherface. But now that she's dead, and he understands like that all the drama that's led to this is because of those four people, the kids. And now I'm going to again kind of give away a little bit here at the beginning. Ruth, who plays Dante's fiance, she's the first of the four to go, main four. But I really, really, really like, I think it's Nell Hudson who plays her. And something that grabbed me immediately was during her death scene, she literally had, like, I don't know how they do it, but she literally had a tear coming down her face when she was dying. Like, I find that to be so realistic in a sense that, like, I kind of expect something like that to happen. It's kind of like if you were going to die, you'd shit yourself almost. Like, or like she was crying. So it wasn't before or after. It was like during her death. So I thought that was very perfectly timed with the tear coming down and whatnot. I thought that was wonderful death kill there. Later on, now here's where some of the stuff that I wish, and I guess it's pretty much for the whole movie. I know I know friends of mine who said, it doesn't matter about great storytelling or long plots or anything like that. However, they could have did a little better fleshing out these characters. Like the movie runs like an hour and 23 minutes. It blazes by, but you really could have gave us another 20 minutes and fleshed out these characters a little bit. Not just with, like, I would have liked Dante to have known that his fiance was gone. Like, I thought that would have been a powerful moment for his particular character. But they skipped all that bullshit because they weren't going to play around. They just wanted to get to the nitty gritty here. Now Dante's confrontation with Leatherface is crazy because Leatherface basically slashes him in the face with a fucking hatchet, and like I thought, okay, that we didn't really see much of the damage initially until Dante is still kind of alive and he gets up and he's walking out in the rain, and then we have this other guy, I think it's Richter. He's like the local handyman who's actually helping them refurbish the whole town, but he's like this stocky redneck dude. So he comes out and they see Dante, and like the graphics and special effects for the face damage on Dante, like his jaw is almost falling off from that slash. Like it's fucking nuts. So you can already tell like the violence in this is just nuts. It's all over the place. It's crazy. There's a bus scene which I know everyone talks about. That the funny thing about that is it's campy and gory, but that's just like the way I like it because you've got this like kind of dance music going on there, and Leatherface is in there with like at least, I don't know, 15, 20 people. It's nuts. And at first, of course, we had the whole like scene when Leatherface first gets in the bus. Everyone's got their phones out and they're like videotaping like it's going to do them any good. But you got to watch this for that. We have basically a one-on-one match between Sally Hardesty, the character, and Leatherface. Evidently, Hardesty, since surviving the first movie, has spent 50 years trying to like hunt down Leatherface, but because she really never knew his identity, just couldn't find him until she waited till he reemerged like he did in this film to finally come out and look for him. It's almost akin to Laurie Strode from Halloween and the Halloween movies recently, that she's come back and trying to kill her demons with Michael Myers and whatnot. The guy that plays Leatherface, Mark Burnham, he's massive, dude. Huge fucking dude. And he's very strong. Plays a very great Leatherface. Like, the makeup itself, as far as like the skin, I mean, I don't know if I was quite as creeped out with this version of Leatherface as I was in TCM2. That to me was far more creepier. But the special effects of this movie just are really top notch. They've really outdone themselves with that. Now let's get into some of the things that I thought were kind of like, lackluster or whatever. Like I discussed earlier, it lacks a little bit of depth for the characters. I'm not expecting Citizen Kane here. But just give me a little more. Come on, just give me a little more, man. Just a little more. Just need it. Yeah, so the characters could use a little more depth, but it doesn't waste any time getting to the killing. Like it's really good, just good stuff there. I wished a couple of things had turned out differently in terms of the. Oh, never mind. It did turn out the way I wanted. Every time, for the moment, I thought that like the end of the movie, I thought, oh no, you guys are gonna leave me with this shit. It got better. It got better. I was so happy with that ending. Like, forget the little sister. The person that needed to go got. That's just how it is. She started the whole fucking thing. She got. Some things that are also John Larroquette. I did not know that he was the narrator from the first movie as well as the remake of 2003 and this movie. So he's reprising his role a couple of times doing the narration on these movies. And I thought, wow, I did not know that because he's a very good actor and I've seen him in Night Court and everything else. in the past, and so that was kind of a cool thing that I learned about that. The other night on Cult of Cinema with Aaron Penn, he actually did his own review of this movie, and he actually stated how he felt about it, and then of course he ranked all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies in order for in his vision of what he really likes. And it's funny because I'm looking at it that night when he was going through that, and I was a little surprised how high he put this film. But after watching this, I kid you not, like my initial rankings of the top three, I don't even really care about a lot of the other ones, but my top three had always been TCM2, the original, and then Leatherface, the third one. But now Leatherface, the third one, got knocked out because Texas Chainsaw Massacre 22 now replaces that. It was that good. I really enjoyed this. Like, I did not come in expecting to really like it. I expected the worst. And now I kind of find myself, because I didn't like Halloween 2018. I hated it. And people say, well, Halloween Kills is just a lot of killing, and it's just crazy, and it was better, and so, like, I still hear bad things about Halloween Kills, but I'm still hesitant to watch it. But if this movie here was really just about the killing, but there were some good things about it. There was some good acting by Dante, the guy who portrays Dante, as well as the girl that portrays Ruth. I really like those two characters, and they weren't on screen very long, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, I it's funny because I did not expect to even rank this. I thought, okay, well, even if I liked it, it may not even be better than half the stuff that I've seen in the past. But it's at my number 3 slot, dude. It's really fucking good. So it's noobs approved. So definitely when Neko gets home, I'll have to tell her to check it out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. It was actually a pleasant surprise. I did not expect that. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night. Got a new podcast coming up in a couple of days. Check it out. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.